Hey, Facebook, I think we are live. How are you today on this wonderful rainy
Monday?
Yeah.
Rainy Monday?
Rainy Monday. And I'm kind of feeling not myself, so I am drinking some Holland vanilla chai, which if you haven't tried it, you should. It's amazing. We're trying to actually get this.
We're good.
We're good?
We're good
Okay.
to go.
Set up to go. And this beautiful mug, actually my son Jonathan bought it for me, and the young lady who made the mug, it has an amazing story behind it, but she was homeless with 2 kids. She actually just graduated with my son, and I can't remember how she said she got into ceramics, but she started doing ceramics. And I don't know if you know this, but my son is not only an amazing student, athlete, he's an amazing ceramist too. He does ceramics. And so he purchased this cup for me, and she was so excited. She was like, my cup is going to be famous. So hello. I'm just saying hi to her. But excuse me if I cough a little bit.
She's healed in Jesus' name.
Yes,
hey, what's up, y'all? We see everybody saying hi. We're trying to get in to see names. All we can see is that people are actually,
to be honest, I don't even know where
responding.
my iPad is today. But anyway,
I
showed up because I knew you were going to be here, and I appreciate it. So thank you so much for tuning in. And I would like for you to share. I see someone say, hey, coach, is not telling me the name. So, hey. Actually, I have 2 nieces, and their names are Amber and Tamia. And we always know when they come over, if the front door is open, they just open it up, they come through, and you hear this, hey. And so we know exactly who it is Amber and Tamia when they come in the house. But anyway, I wanted to share something with you. This particular Facebook Live is actually going to be called The Game of Money. And so
now we got some names.
Yeah, hey Dawn. Hi, LaShawne.
LaShawne said, hope you feel better.
Thank you
Nakia
so
said,
much.
feel better.
Thank you.
Dawn, I thought you were leaving your hair curly. Uh-oh. So actually tomorrow we're preparing to do some live taping. So here in the house. So LaShawne's got her hair all fancy. She decided to get rid of the wet look and go straight for her taping tomorrow. Yeah. So yeah. Y'all pray for her, okay?
Yes. Please pray for me.
You will do great, baby.
But also share this video.
Definitely.
Invite people in. What do you call it when you share it to? Oh, a look party? Is that what Facebook called? Watch party. Do a watch party too. Yep. But this, what I want to talk to you guys today about, the conversation came up because I received a call from someone today with whom I respect highly. Like, I respect him. You know, I have great honor and respect for this person. But anyway, they actually wanted to send me out of town. He got a telephone call from someone else. And to not give you all the backstory, but the person called him wanting to invest a certain amount of money. He was like, hey, I'm making $100,000 a month, and you know me, I believe in asking the right questions. And so I started asking, you know, well, what, and he began to tell me a little bit about it, which he wasn't really clear on what the guy was doing. And so I said, okay, well, you can only do it through selling a product or service. What is he doing? You know, what product is he investing in? And the guy was like, well, you know, I don't know. And I said, listen, we have to stop being so enamored because somebody rattles off some numbers to us. Listen,
you gotta learn to ask the right questions.
You gotta learn to ask the right questions.
Right.
I can create a spreadsheet in Excel to say anything. Yep. And so if you can't tell me which brokerage he's using to do what he's doing, you're not sure what he's trading. Right.
What product or service is he offering to the public? I mean,
and so none of that. And so I thought it was important for us to just have a conversation around the game of money and how it works. And everybody plays a different game. Why? Because everybody has a different mindset. Everybody has a different starting point based off of how they were raised. Everybody has different goals and different different dreams. Everybody has different risk tolerance levels.
Absolutely.
Because even with Rob and I, our risk tolerance levels are completely different.
And y'all know who the risky one is, right?
It's not risky when you know the information,
when you're smart,
when you're smart about it.
When you're educated.
I don't deem it as being risky.
As
I may
risky.
take more of an investment than you because Rob is extremely conservative.
But to me, that's the perfection in the balance, right?
Yeah.
The perfection is in the balance.
Yep. And so I read this and I thought, wow, this was really great to share. It says the size of your success is measured by the strength of your desire, the size of your dream, and how you handle disappointments along the way.
Wow.
And I thought that was really important because it's really true. And so the primary reason a lot of times that people struggle financially is because they take financial advice from poor people or salespeople. And what he was doing today was taking advice from a salesperson. And I want to talk a little bit about the difference between the two. But I grew up with my grandfather always telling me, I'll never forget, my grandfather I only got in trouble with him 2 times in my life. And I've only gotten a spanking from him 1 time in my life. And that was because of my mouth, as you can guess. And I'll never forget, my cousins actually talked me into taking, do you remember the camera, the disc camera that used to be out? Do you remember that? It came right after the Polaroid. And so it was this disc that used to go in. Right. And it was a thin, skinny camera.
Yep.
And so they wanted me to go and sneak into my grandparents' bedroom and take the camera because they knew that I wouldn't get in trouble, but they would get in trouble for doing it. And so,
or at least that's what they told you.
At least that's what they told me, and I was dumb enough to believe it. And so I did it, and I didn't pay attention to how it was stashed in the drawer. So they knew I had taken it. And when he came to me and asked me, and he was like, "Why did you do it?" And I was like, "I don't know." And he was like, "One, I'm not going to get on you for taking it. I'm getting on you because you didn't know why you did it.
Right.
Always know why you did something, one, and always consider your source."
Wow.
And so that has just stuck with me my whole entire adult life, those teaching moments that he taught me.
Yep.
And so I consider my source. If the person doesn't have a great track record of being successful in the area that I'm looking to be in, why am I going to listen to them? Right? And so the primary reason I've seen it over and over again for years that people struggle financially is because they don't consider their source and they take financial advice from people that's in the E quadrant.
Yep. And I think, we live in a time where information is a touch away.
Yes.
Right? And it's okay to trust but verify.
You have to trust but verify.
Trust but verify, or as we say, due diligence. Conduct your due diligence, right? Just because somebody tells you something doesn't necessarily mean it's true. I'm one of those that we believe in researching.
Yes.
Right? And even once you Google, you still have to check your source when you Google.
Yeah, check.
Because Wikipedia, understand, anybody can change information on
Wikipedia, which is true. Hey Z, hey Adrian, how are you?
Yep. Good
and
evening.
So with the game of money, it's often broken up into 4 quarters. And so I actually created a program. We started thinking about this when I created a program some time ago called Beyond the Game, right, for student athletes. And a lot of that we would share with the people who played football with my son. But the game of money is really broken up into 4 quarters, right? And so in football, for 4 quarters, each quarter is broken up into 15-minute intervals. Although it seems like it's an eternity when it's snowing or raining outside.
Feels like forever.
Yes, and it's 25 degrees. Yep. It feels like it's forever, but it's not. It's 4 15-minute quarters. And so for many of us, when we go to college, and we leave school nowadays because most people don't graduate in 4 years, although it's possible. Thank God both of my sons graduated in 4 years, but it's normally around the age of 25 is the average age that people are leaving college now. And because it's rare for people graduating in 4 years, when you look at the game of money, then the world tells us that age 65 is the age of retirement, or my husband likes to call it the age
after 59 and a half. Your legal retirement is 59 and a half.
after 59 and or more, greater than. You said greater than 59 and a half. That's an inside joke for everybody who came to the Wealthy Revolution.
Yep.
But this means that in the game of money, if you look at it being 4 quarters, it's 10 years each. So the game is played for 40 years.
Yep.
And that's important for you to know. And that's why procrastination is not a wealth strategy.
No, it's not.
And so this means that, when you look at it, it's 10 years. If you look at starting when you graduate college at the age of 25, so from the age of 25 to 35, that's the first quarter of your life.
Absolutely.
When you look at the age of 35 to 45, that's the second quarter of your life.
Yep.
And so at 45 really is what's called halftime, right? And so this is when people start going through midlife crisis, or they start thinking about things more seriously now than they've ever thought before.
There's a mental shift that occurs.
Especially if they're late in the game,
right,
and they wasted the first 2 quarters being in debt and not planning for their financial future, not saving any money, any of that. And so, halftime really is a reflection of what they've done with their financial lives. And then when you look at from 45 to 55, this is the third quarter of your life.
Yep.
And then from 55 to 65 is the fourth quarter. And so what happens if we haven't structured things and we have to go into overtime, right? The game has been played. We have to go into overtime. What that means is for a person who has to go into overtime, they can't afford to retire.
That's right.
Because they didn't plan accordingly. And then sometimes you get to overtime, but oftentimes people can get to out of time too.
That's right.
And out of time is I can no longer physically work anymore to do anything to earn income. And so what here at the Wealthy Leaders Institute, really what we're about is helping people define your own terms of the financial game. That's what it's about. And it's about taking control of your own finances. And so when the conversation came up today, I'm like, so you're going to give this man money. One, you don't even know what product he's doing. You're unclear. You haven't physically seen anything. You don't even know how he can get his money back out of the investment. What's the exit strategy? You haven't asked any of that. All you heard was $100,000 a month. And so we have to learn the rules of the game so we can play the game to win and not to lose. And most people play the money game not to lose, which means they think investing is risky. But the reason why they think investing is risky is because they haven't put in the time to really educate themselves. And so really it's about you learning to play your own game of money rather than you letting someone else play the game for you. And
if I could for a second, let's just make this synonymous to sports, right? It doesn't matter whether the sport is football or baseball or basketball, but in this case we'll use football since we split it into 4 quarters. And baseball is played in 9 innings, so it's a little bit different sport. But if we could if I could use an analogy, when you start talking about first quarter 25 to 35, it's important in the first quarter of your life, just like it's important in the first quarter of a football game, to take some risk, right? First quarter, as a team, it's important to get out, figure out the game, make sure you understand the rules of the game, but it's at that point where you can take some risk. So first quarter of a game, you can throw a couple long passes, you can try some trick plays because you have you can afford a few losses because you still have 3 quarters to make it up. But the important thing is you don't spend the first quarter sitting on the bench. Right? It's important to get in the game at the beginning of the first quarter because you don't want to get behind. Right? The team that falls behind early on becomes desperate now and has to take a lot of risk in the later quarters. Okay? So as you move into the second quarter, hopefully you've played successfully in the first quarter. Maybe you've had some losses, but you still have time to make it up. But at least with the lessons that you've learned, right? As an offense, maybe you've learned how to attack the defense now. Maybe you've learned how to do some options trading, or you've learned how to do some reading and stay up on what's in the news so you know where to invest your money.
Which is what we call the offensive plays of money,
offensive
learning the defensive plays. Most people spend so much time on the defensive plays, and when I say defensive plays, I mean you're spending so much time, so many years of your life trying to pay off debt.
That's right.
And just get from under being financially in bondage that you never really pay attention to your offensive plays. And I'm here to tell you that you can learn both at the same time.
Yes,
you can learn how to implement your defensive plays. You can work on getting out of debt at the same time as building your financial IQ and your financial education, so you know what offensive plays to make. And so most people only use, like, I don't want to be a victim in the game of money, but the only way that you cannot be a victim in the game of money is learning how to master your money. And victims don't know the rules. That's why they become victims. And so we were recently talking about this because, was it Friday? I was just talking about how many hours my son spends in the market with invested.
Right.
And so my husband made a comment, and he was like 10,000 hours. And talk about
so most people don't know, but if you do research, they say it takes 10,000 hours to become an expert or a master at whatever it is you do. So there's not instant success, there's not overnight success. There is no shortcut for work.
I actually have that in my notes.
Yeah.
We had a mentor years ago. I don't know if you've seen this on some of the lives that I've done, but he was a pretty staunch mentor, and he used to, if we didn't do what he asked us to do in a week's time, he would slam the phone down.
But that's what we needed.
Our ears. That's what we needed. We needed somebody to kick us in the tail to get us started. But he used to say, I've seen instant success and I've seen lasting success, but I've never seen instant lasting success. And so one of the problems that we have is we want a get-rich-quick mentality.
Right. We want the microwave. We want
it without the process.
Program. That's right.
Yeah, and it doesn't happen like that. And so most people only use their banker to get poor.
Yep.
They don't understand how to use their banker to be able to leverage to become richer through real estate and some other investing that you can do. But you have to learn to use your banker to help you get richer. And so the difference between, there is a difference between having to work and wanting to work. There's a big difference between that. And so the rules really do causes you to have to change your mindset and to get a plan together. And so if you want to increase, you really do have to plan for increase, and you got to learn the game and then play the game.
Yes, you do. You can't sit on the bench for the first 2 quarters, right? You can't sit on the bench
for the first 2 quarters. You're not playing if you never run the plays.
Right.
You're not playing if we give you a savings plan that's so elementary and easy for you to do, and you never implement it.
Right.
Or we give you a plan to be able to increase your money or whatever, a plan for you. I call it my get out of Egypt plan, which is my get out of debt plan. And you never do the strategies to be able to do it. You never implement the strategies to raise your credit score quickly. And so you got to learn to run the plays.
And you can't just play defense, right? You have to play offense in this game. Defense is acquiring the knowledge. Defense is, learning the strategies. Offense is implementation. Right? Offense is implementing that information that you've learned, and so not just being reactive.
You're never playing the game if you never run the plays.
You never run
so if you leave Wealthy Revolution Live and you never open that wealth dossier back up again,
you're only playing defense.
You're only playing defense. You're not playing offense, and offense is what wins the game.
The majority of your scores, let's relate it to the game of football. The majority of your points come on offense. Yeah. Very rarely are points scored on defense.
And so most people go to school to learn how to earn money. They go either get an academic education or a professional education, but not a financial education. And we talked about that a little bit about that last week. But academic and professional education only teaches you how to earn money in the E quadrant, right? But a financial education teaches you not only how to earn, it teaches you how to create money also. Yes. And then it teaches you not only to earn and create money, it teaches you how to become a financial mastery of your money. Having a great financial education teaches you how to leverage your money. And leverage is simply the ability to do more
with less.
And then having a great financial education teaches you how to protect your money. And when I say protect your money, I mean through predatory taxes, predatory lawsuits, or economic cycle downturns.
Or schemes. Just schemes, period. We have to be educated enough to discern an opportunity. We could do a whole Facebook Live on that.
We really do.
We should.
Yeah, we really do, because there's so many out here. And then number 5 in the game, you know, with a financial education, it teaches you about the importance of having an exit strategy.
Yes.
You need an exit strategy, know when to get out. And so most people only live for the moment, thinking about today and never thinking about their tomorrows. And so, for example, if I sell an investment one way and exit one way, I pay taxes, right? But if I'm educated enough, I can sell the same thing one way and never pay any taxes on it. And so your knowledge and your exit strategy really does matter. Just the other day, I posted something about on Facebook, I think on my personal page, about China, what's going on with China and the tariffs and stuff. And I was so excited, and somebody commented, was like, it's still too volatile, it's not the time to invest. And I responded with, it's not the time for you to invest, because you don't have the information, but we go shopping when the market drops.
So I can give you an example. So you've been out running around most of the day, but I talked to Adam, our son who does the options trading, and today was a great day for him. Now, if you look at if you look at any apps, the market was down close to 700 points.
And most people who have their money in 401ks or mutual funds, guess what? Their stuff took.
Yeah, you felt that.
You felt that.
You felt that.
But for us, I think he had 3 different positions.
He was up over 40% by the end of the day in all 3 positions.
Well, because one was 50%, and the other 2, I think, was right around.
It came down a little near the end of the day, but he was over 40% in 3 positions today.
Yes.
And part of that, we had a conversation about exit strategy, right? Because in options trading too, you also have to know when to get out. So that applies to everything.
Yep.
As it relates to business.
And so if you want to master your money, you really do need to learn how to learn.
Yes.
And so you got to learn how to prepare for the rough seas ahead that this generation is really headed for. And you have to learn about creating your own opportunities and mastering your money and leveraging your money and, you know, protecting your money from the predators is out there. And then number 5 will be your exit game. And so most people earn money from their jobs, but they struggle financially regardless of how much money they make, because they never learn to master their money properly. And we see that all the time. We have clients that make in the high 6 figures. And you would think if someone makes $450,000 a year on their job, that they should be able to afford a $5,000 program, and they can't. Because they've never learned how to not live off of 100% of their income. And so, you know, I guess what I'm really trying to say with this conversation today, when the person called me and we got the phone, I was like, look, you give your money to strangers and your money will work for the strangers before it will work for you.
Wow.
If you give your money to strangers, how is it going to work for them? In fees. You know, and we should probably do a Facebook Live on that too, so people can get an understanding of what it's like to do retail investing. And so you have to make sure you learn the difference between a sales pitch and sound investment education.
Yes.
You got to learn the difference. And so make sure you're on our mailing list also, so we can take this conversation further. Last week we took it further, you know, and I was able to go a little bit deeper in what I talked about. And I just feel like, because I don't have Facebook, doesn't give you that much time. I want to be able to go deeper with you guys so we can have a greater education, you know, so we can raise our financial IQ. But
so we just wanted to share some stats. You know, we were talking about quarters and how investing and being active in the game of money is so important at every phase, at every quarter. We just wanted to share some numbers. And again, if you were a Wealthy Revolution Live, you heard these numbers before, but they are alarming, which is why it's important for us, we think, to share them again. But in the first quarter, so this is average retirement data. So this is from age 25 to 35. The average retirement account is about $31,000. Okay. Now, the median is only, I'll round up, $500. And it's important to understand averages can be swayed by people with high balances. Okay, a median is that number that sits right in the middle. So a median is 480. That is more realistic than an average, because you can have people with high balances that pull that average up.
So listen to that. What he's really saying, in the first quarter in the game of money, most people only have $480 put aside
by age 35.
By age 35.
Yep. That's pretty scary, y'all. That's not even a savings account. That's not even a savings account. So by the time you get to the second quarter, age 36 to 45, the average is about $67,000, with the median being $4,200. So now you are coming up at halftime, and the median amount in a retirement account is $4,200. Now, the other thing I want you to understand is this account is a before tax account. Wow. So they still have not paid taxes on this amount of money.
Wow.
So you could chop a third of that $4,000 in taxes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so now you can start to really see why time matters.
Yes.
For people who are lingering and letting their debt linger around and not being serious, the amount of money that you're paying towards your debt, you have compound interest working against you,
yes,
and
you
not
do.
for you.
Yes.
And so those years,
offensive versus defensive.
Offensive, yeah,
yep.
Offensive, plays
yep.
versus defensive plays. The amount that you're spending on paying your credit card bills every month could be in the market for you and compounding in a different way, where your money is now making money for you.
Right.
And so you really do have, it takes diligence to change your mindset where that's concerned. And, it's really important. So you look at these numbers, and at $4,200 in a year, I don't know who can just live off of that in 1 year.
Nobody can live off of that in a year.
Yeah.
Not in retirement.
Yeah.
Not when you have no other income coming in.
Yeah, and
yep.
so we start thinking of other ways to increase our income, so we can start putting more money towards that.
And understand, the two greatest assets we have are earning power and time. And once you spend time, you can't get it back.
Yeah.
All right. So if you look at third quarter, age 46 to 55, so we're talking average at that point is 81,000. Okay, with a median of $6,200. So now you are.
None of this is enough for me to live off. This is
you're 4 years from retirement.
This is another thing I want to bring up because I have a challenging time understanding why people, and I know we're coming up on the end, but why people wait till they get in their 50s and 60s to buy a new house and start paying another 30-year mortgage.
Hit the reset button.
They hit the reset button, and the problem with that is when you retire and you don't have enough, that's not paying a mortgage for a full year.
That's right.
These numbers, even when you look at, tell them what the fourth quarter is.
So fourth quarter, age 55 or 56 to 65, the average balance is $163,000. Okay, the median is $17,000. 17, and again, all these numbers are before tax. So $17,000. $17,000 is the median. So now, in most cases, you have people who are of full retirement age. Some have passed full retirement age, and the median income or median balance is $17,000. So now you talked about overtime and out of time. The person who's 66 with $17,000, overtime has passed them, and they are now out of time, because at that age, it's tough to wake up every day and go to a job and earn an income.
Yep.
But that happens because you didn't play offensively in the first half when you had the opportunity.
Yep. And so I guess the gist of this Facebook Live is that it would give us some understanding of how important time is in the game of money. And I say this all the time, wealth really is measured in time. It's not measured in money. And so when you start thinking about time in that way, not to put anybody in a place of fear, that's not what we're trying to do. We're really just trying to educate people so we can plan accordingly. But we have to learn the difference between a salesperson coming to us with something, and you know, someone who's really bringing financial education for us. And so if you're not already on our e-zine list, please go to LaShawneHolland.com and get on the list so we can take this conversation further. Thank you so much for showing up for the money show.
Yep.
And
like I tell all my customers, if you're not in the game, it's important to get in the game.
Get in the game.
Get in the game.
So we can play to win.
That's right.
Not
Offensively.
That's right. That's right. So, bye, guys. Thank you so much. Peace out. We forgot whose phone is who.